Hello student, today is the first lecture of metal and non-metals. In this lecture, we will discuss characteristics properties of metals. Now, firstly discuss physical properties of metals. Okay student? Now discuss the physical property of metals. Dear student, in physical property, firstly we are discuss electronic configuration of metals. Dear student, the electronic configuration of metals, most of metals atom possess 1, 2 or 3 electron in their outermost cell. Outermost cell means valence cell. The outermost cell is known as valence cell. Dear student, all the metals contain 1, 2 or 3 electron in their valence cell or outer cell. For example, here sodium is a metal. The atomic number of sodium is 11. After atomic configuration, 281 is the configuration of sodium. Here sodium outermost cell is third cell. K cell, L cell, M cell. M cell is the outermost cell. Here M in M cell 1 electrons are present. So we say that this is metal because in this element it's out in outer cell, in their outer cell contain 1 electron. So we say that it is a metal. Now here a element Mg, that is magnesium. The atomic number of magnesium 12. The electronic configuration 282. Here in M cell 2 electrons are present. M cell is here outer cell or valence cell. Due to presence of 2 electrons, we say that magnesium is a major. Now here aluminium, Al, that is aluminium. Here the atomic number of aluminium 13. The electronic configuration 283 is the configuration of aluminium. Yes, student. Here in outer cell, that is known as valence cell, 3 electrons. So we say that is aluminium is a major. Yes, student. I think you understand. The metals of metal atoms generally possess 1, 2 or 3 electrons in their outer cell or valence cell. Okay, student. Dear student, but an exception here. Here, an element that is hydrogen. The atomic number of hydrogen 1. The atomic configuration in K cell there are 1 electron. You know that the atom which consists 1, 2 or 3 electrons in outermost cell is known as metal. But here in hydrogen there are 1 electron in their first cell. Their first cell is also outer cell. 1 electron, so we say that it is metal, but is exception for the concept of metal. So because it is a non-major, so we say that hydrogen is the exception of the concept of electronic configuration of metals. Okay, student. Now discuss. Dear student, the second properties of metal is the electropositive characteristics. Dear student, the metals after losing electrons, metal have a high tendency to lose their electrons. Okay, metal have high tendency to lose their electron which is present in outer cell. Okay, and became a positive ions, and the positive ion is also known as cations. We say that positive ion as a cations. Yes, student, the metal tendency have to lose their valence. Valence cell means valence electron means outer cell electron, and become positive ion, that is cation, to acquire stable configurations of nearest noble gas. Yes, student, noble gas means, yes, student, a noble gas that is helium, neon, argon, krypton, xenon and radon. Helium, neon, argon, krypton, xenon and radon is the noble gas. Noble gas. Their configuration is a stable configuration because they do not react with other elements. Okay. This one here, sodium metals. So you know that electronic configuration of sodium metal is 281. Okay. After the losing one electron, it convert into 28. Due to lose one electron, so it acquire one positive charge. Dear student, The electronic configuration of neon also 2,8. So we say that this configuration has a like neon-like configuration. Here sodium became positive ions and acquire neon-like configurations. It means metal have the tendency to acquire positive charge. Okay, student. Now here example of calcium. The electronic configuration of calcium 2882. Calcium lose their outer cell electron. Here 2 electrons and the electron then acquire 2 positive charge. The configuration 288. Yes, student. Here the configuration 288 is as alike to argon configuration. So we say that it acquire noble gas configuration. But here observe calcium acquire positive charge by use of electron. It means it is metal because it have the tendency to lose electron and acquire positive ions. Okay. Now here aluminium. The configuration of aluminium 283. It lose the 3 electron, that is outer electrons, and the configuration as like to neon, and it acquired 3 positive charge. So we say that after the losing their outer cell electron, it acquired the positive ions. So we say that metal are the electropositive in nature. Okay, aluminium also a metal. Dear student, now discuss malleability. Malleability is the property of metals beaten into thin sheet. When you beat the metals, it convert into thin sheet. It is an example of silver foil. Silver foil is an example of malleability, which is used for the decoration of sweets. Okay. Dear student, gold, silver are the most malleable metals. Now discuss ductility. Ductility is the properties of metal. Ductility means metal draw into wire. Metal draw into wire. Like gold and silver. Students, always remember gold and silver are the most ductile metals because their smallest in their smallest masses we draw very long wires. Okay. Now discuss thermal and electrical conductivity. Thermal and electrical conductivity. Dear student, always remember that all metals are good conductor of heat. Thermal means heat and electricity. Dear student, all the metals are good conductor of electricity. Why? Question is why? It is because they contain free electron or mobile electrons. They contain free electron or mobile electrons. Which is the mobile electron? Dear student, the electron loose by the metal that is present in outer cell is the mobile electron or free electrons. All metal lose ability have to lose their electrons. It means they have the mobile electron. Mobile means movable electrons. Okay, student. Mobile means movable electron. Here, sodium have the 1 movable electrons. Calcium have 2 movable electrons. Aluminium 3 movable electrons. So mobile electron or free electron means the electrons. Movable electron is known as mobile electron. You observe here, sodium, calcium, and aluminium are the metals which have the movable electrons in valence shell. So we say that they have the properties of conductivity of electricity. Okay, student. Here example. But dear student, the electric conductivity of all metals are not similar. Like here, here the Au, that is gold, Ag, that is silver, Al, that is aluminium, Cu, that is copper, is the best conductor of electricity. Means their electrons move easily. Okay, but iron, Fe, that is iron, Hg, that is mercury, offered greater resistance to flow of current. Yes, student. It means the electrons cannot flow easily. They resist to flow of electron or flow of current. Okay, student. Always remember that the flow of current is just opposite direction of the flow of electron. Here it resists iron and mercury resist the flow of flow of current, okay, due to uh, less electron mobility, capability of less movable electrons capability. Okay. Dear student, here the exception. You know that the all metals are good conductor of heat and electricity, but a non-metal, that is graphite, it is a non-metal, but it is a good conductor of electricity. Always remember that. You know that all metal are the good conductor of heat and electricity. But always remember, graphite is a non-metal, not a metal. Non-metal, but have the tendency to lose their electrons, move their electrons, because graphite is the allotrope of carbon. Carbon have the 4 valence electron, but in graphite there 3 electrons bind to others carbon, 1 electrons are free electron, so it conduct electricity. Okay, student. Luster means shining. Shining appearance is the luster. Yes, student. You know that mostly metals have the shining. That is the property of luster. Okay. But student, graphite is a non-metal and iodine also a non-metal, but they have the lustrous properties. Okay. Always remember. You know that the metals have the luster property, but graphite and iodine is a non-metal, but it have luster property. Okay, lustrous metal, non-metals. Now discuss. Mostly metals have the high density. Most of metals have high density, but some metals like sodium and potassium have the low density, which is the exception of metals. Dear student, the metals which have the low density, that like sodium, potassium, magnesium, and aluminum, have the low density. The low density metal is known as lightest metal. Low density metal is known as light metals. Okay. Dear student, now discuss the state of metals. The state of metal. State means physical appearance of the metal. Dear student, generally metal are solid at room temperature. But mercury is a metal, but is liquid at room temperature. Okay, please write down in your notebook. Now discuss other property like melting point and boiling point. Yes, student, melting point and boiling point. Yes, student, always remember that most of metal have the high melting and boiling point. But sodium and potassium are exception of metal because they melt or boil at the low temperature. Okay. Now, dear student, gallium and cesium both are metals, but can melt if kept on the palm. Can melt when kept on the palm. सिर्फ इसको आप हाथ पर रख लीजिए, क्या होगा, गल जाता है. कौन? गैलियम एंड सीजियम. लेकिन मोस्टली मेटल्स क्या होते हैं, हाई मेल्टिंग और बॉइलिंग पॉइंट्स के होते हैं. कुछ एक्सेप्शन है इसमें. नाउ डिस्कस alloy formation. The student, most of metal form alloy by the mixing one metal into others. Alloy formation form homogeneous mixture in combinations with the other metals. When a metals combine with other metals, they form a homogeneous mixture, and this homogeneous mixture is called alloy. So we say that alloy is the mixture of a metal into another metals. Okay. Like here, brass is an alloy. Of zinc metals and copper and zinc metals. Always remember, brass is the alloy of copper and zinc. It means When coppers mix it with the zinc, we obtained a mixture, homogeneous mixture, that is known as brass. Okay, this is the property of metals. They should now discuss hardness of metal. Yes, student, most of metals are very hard. Most of metal are very hard, like iron. Okay, but sodium and potassium are soft metal because they can be cut with the knife. Okay, dear student, here you observe in the properties of metals. We observe here mostly sodium and potassium are become exception of the metals. So always remember where is the sodium and potassium are exception, and where the some metals like graphite, non-metals like graphites and iodine are the exception. Yes, student, please learn of all the properties of the metals. In next lecture, we are discuss reactivity series, which is very useful for your previous chapter, single displacement and double displacement reaction. Okay, student. So write the given content on the whiteboard and read your NCERT book and solve the questions related to this topic given in NCERT. Thank you very much.